Hello there.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Super.
Super.
So we're gonna start making some videos.
Why not?
Why not? And start having just some fun conversations, hanging out, being Drew and Melissa. Kind of a way to get to know us maybe a little better.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
I like that.
together. People
Together.
don't see us maybe in this format, just talking about things. They see us with our kids and our crazy boys, our ninjas.
Our ninjas. Our three ninjas.
Our three ninjas. We should make a movie about that.
We should. I think it's already been
I think
done.
it's already been made. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we just what do you want to talk about?
Generosity.
Generosity. It's a great topic.
Yeah, it's a great topic.
It's a great topic.
It's a topic of the month.
Yeah, we're talking about generosity, Generation 1.
We are.
Yeah.
It's a great topic.
It is a great topic. I would say that generosity is kind of looking back at our story and even who God's been to you. Like, generosity has really been something that you've encountered God greatly through.
Absolutely.
I would say generosity. A lot of people have unique encounters with God that all look very, very different. Generosity has been a big deal for you, though.
And I think it was like foundationally, like within like my family. I think it's something that's always been demonstrated. I just think that the generosity that we've experienced over the last 4 years has been like, just like out of this world. Like it's really blown my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we've done some pretty radical stuff.
We have. We've definitely taken some risk. And in the midst of that risk, the Lord has met us like above and beyond.
Extravagantly.
Extravagantly.
I like that
Absolutely
word.
true. It's true.
Extravagantly.
Yeah. It's amazing how, well, I think for surely I was, raised in a system where, we never went without, but my parents worked hard. My dad worked hard and, we never went without, things were always provided.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's it's a different story than you experienced, but not different in outcome because you were always provided for. It was just a different vehicle. Is that the right word? Not really.
Sure, yeah. We were missionaries, starting churches and moving all around and on this Abraham journey of faith, and the pursuit of truth, if you will. And so we were, it was amazing. My parents were first generation Christians coming from very,
Broken.
Yeah, just very difficult family situations that were, just family behaviors being repeated generation after generation. And so, amazing people, but sometimes we don't realize we repeat our environment. So you're raised a certain way and you just repeat it and doing your best. And so mom and dad were doing their best to say, hey, let's look at this and then ask God, what does it look like to establish a legacy that looks like something you would do? And so I was raised in an environment where they were pursuing that and having to break off a lot of iniquity. But we were poor.
Yeah, really poor.
We were really poor. Yeah, so a lot of amazing testimonies of generosity towards us. But yeah, it was so amazing because while we had so little, we were poor. While we had so little, like the amazing thing was that my parents still gave.
Right.
In the midst of not having much, like they still were some of the most generous people that I know.
Absolutely.
And
with their resources, with their time, with their love, with their home.
Radical.
Totally
radical. It's like amazing
totally
examples.
outside my box, even. Outside of my box.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So it's just amazing because while we grew up in different environments, the reality was there was still an emphasis on being good to other people.
Absolutely.
It just was communicated differently. And I think it's been neat us coming together and experiencing that as husband and wife, but even just growing in our faith together as well in ministry, the pursuit of what we're doing. Generosity has been a major vehicle, us learning how to give at a larger level and then also receive on a larger level too, because generosity is actually the combination of giving and receiving.
For sure.
Generosity isn't encountered just by giving. Someone has to take it.
It's true.
So I don't mind being the taker either, not the stealer, but I will receive your gift in Jesus' name.
If it's fruit, we shall enjoy it. If it's seed, we shall sow it.
Yeah, amen for that.
That's a good one.
Yeah. What do you think is one of the most impacting stories of God's generosity?
Oh my gosh, there's so many things. One of the biggest, the Vitamix obviously comes to mind for me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like...
That's a good one.
Yeah, obviously a little bit of our story is that, in 2010 we kind of took a major risk in
Yeah.
stepping out from what we knew was comfortable. I mean, I think
Mm-hmm.
between the two of us, we had really great jobs, great salary jobs,
Yeah.
very,
Mm-hmm.
steady,
Yeah, consistent,
secure,
predictable. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And, we lived right within those means.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when things shifted in 2010 and we wanted to kind of discover what else was probably out there for us, we kind of did that with my job in place, thinking like, okay, we got this. My
Right.
job will at least pay the bills while we kind of discover and search out what it is the Lord has. And that was in October of 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in
4 years ago.
Yeah, and then in December.
And we're not dead. We're still alive.
We're thriving. And then
We made it.
We not only just made it, but we really went through like the best season of our lives.
Exploded.
Yeah, it was just the best time.
It was great.
It was really, really good.
Not easy, but it was great.
Not easy, but it was. I mean,
There was a peace in it.
Right. It was
the most risk we'd ever taken, and yet we had so much peace. I think it's an amazing principle about peace. Peace doesn't eliminate problems. It just gives you the just that rooted default position that God's going to finish everything that He starts.
That He didn't bring us this far to leave us.
Yeah, and you can't have authority over a storm you're not willing to sleep through. Bill Johnson. It's a great quote.
That is a great quote.
Yeah, I like it.
The Lord told us in 2010 that the rain wouldn't stop until we put our umbrella down.
Yeah.
And putting that umbrella down was hard, but at the same time,
What was the umbrella?
The umbrella was just, I think, the covering,
Comfort,
known
and comfortable things.
Yeah, even just the support system that we were operating in. I think just walking away from the big three, if you will. I mean, it sort of felt like that in our world, maybe that it was just like really kind of like venturing out into the wilderness, so to speak, and not really knowing what we'd find.
Mm-hmm.
But at that point, it was just like, man, we had to go.
Mm-hmm.
We had to go.
It was the right timing.
It was the right timing for us.
Yes.
It was life. It was
right. It was a response to what the Lord was doing in our lives, not a reaction to situations or circumstances or people.
Absolutely true.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So we did that, and then a couple.
Vitamix.
Oh, Vitamix.
That's what we're talking about.
We're talking about the Vitamix.
Yeah.
So,
great blunder. It's like the Mercedes.
Yes. If it actually had wings, it could fly around this house.
Maybe the Bentley. It's probably the Bentley of blunders.
But I mean, in the midst of it, like stepping out in 2010, and then a couple months later, like being laid off, that was like really like.
Right. So we step out, let go of my job. We step out in faith, and then 2 months later, you get laid off.
That was like where the faith really started. And but we never didn't pay a bill. We never went without.
Right.
We were so blessed, and
we got skinnier.
And now
now we're
so
not. Eggnog.
But it was incredible because it was not only that did our monthly needs get met. We live in a beautiful home in a beautiful community. We
were smart about it.
Yeah. As smart as we could be. As prepared as we could be.
We did our best to be prepared.
We did our best to be prepared. That's true.
Risk will always cost you more than you know.
It's true.
But we did our best to be prepared.
We did.
We spent 2 years getting prepared.
We did.
Yeah.
It was a good prepared.
We didn't know what the risk looked like. We just knew something was coming and to get ready for it.
This is true.
And
this
we
is
did.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you got a Vitamix.
I did. It was an incredible story.
This is the third time or second time
I'm sorry. I know. I'm just trying to lay some backstories so people understand because a Vitamix is a blender after all. So
But these videos can't be too long or you'll stop watching.
I know. I guess we're already at 9 minutes, so we should probably wrap it up. So, in the midst of our adventure and really stepping out into the unknown, it wasn't that just our everyday needs were met, but the Lord really showed me that it wasn't just the everyday needs, the manna, so to speak, that He was going to meet every day, but that He loved me so great that it was like even the
desires.
The desires of my heart.
Yeah.
It's true. Even though that might sound silly, or I don't even know if cliche is the right word, but I was at Costco with the boys, my two boys. I didn't have Graham yet. And we were walking around, and of course the elusive Vitamix, oasis appeared before our eyes, and
Elusive or illustrious?
I don't know, man. It was like a mirage. It was like, wow.
Elusive means you can't have it.
Okay, well, I really couldn't have it because
like
I saw
it got away from you.
But I saw the price, and it was like $4.99.98, okay. And I was like, yeah, it's
that would be
much...
called intimidating.
It was elusive to me. It was not happening. I was like, there's not even enough change in the couch cushions before that.
Yeah.
I couldn't
It's a
scrape
$500 blender.
Yeah, I mean that's so impractical.
Well, unless you're like some like smoothie, organic, junky, need every like, and we weren't those people. Like
but we were wannabe smoothie junkies.
Well, we still are.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
But we have a Vitamix.
But we do.
Makes really good soup. And ice cream.
Sorbet.
Yeah.
So yeah, long story short is that I had gone and I saw the demonstration. I was so captured. My heart was captured by the Vitamix, but I knew like, man, there's no way that we can scrape together $500 and that would be so irresponsible. And I, kind of walked away sadly and talked to my mom and sister about it, took them back, even showed them the presentation. They were kind of like, it's a $500 blender. And I was like, yeah, but it's so great. And that day I had left to go to an appointment that I was already late for, and I arrived and, I apologized for being stopped up at the Vitamix counter and just, kind of was talking with some people, and they were just saying, oh, yeah, we have Vitamix, we use it every day. I was like, really? Gosh, I knew it. I knew it was that good. Long story short is that I was at this appointment with my 2 boys at the time, and this gentleman walked up to me and he handed me a folded check, and I said, what's this? He was like, go get your Vitamix. And I was like, what? I was like, no. He said, I was in prayer last night and the Lord gave me a specific amount, and this is for you. Go buy your Vitamix. And I was like, I can't take this. No. He was like, go get your Vitamix. And so I walked out. It was fruit.
To eat.
It was absolutely fruit. Even though I called you and I asked. I said, can we really buy this Vitamix? He said, buy it. But anyways, yeah, I went out to the van. I put the kids in their car seats, and I unfolded the check, and it was for $500. And, I mean, that was probably the largest gift that anyone's ever given to me. Like, just
at that moment.
Like,
yeah.
That was just like...
But that was just kind of priming the pump.
Yeah, because the Lord's bought us a washer, or not a washer and dryer. Yeah, a washer and dryer.
Yeah.
What else has the Lord given us?
Just numerous checks.
Just checks in the mail.
Gifts and surprises. Debts paid off. Expenses decrease. Blessing and increase.
Man, we've just been so blessed. And
we live that. That's our life.
Yeah.
But it's not just on the receiving component.
Absolutely not, yeah.
Like we've decided to be extravagant givers.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
It's like sowing even when it was like the hardest time to sow. It's just like,
the Bible calls that sowing in tears.
Yeah. I remember we had like a really large gift card that someone had given us, and we had just a random couple over, and it was just like, we both felt like they walked out the door and we both looked at each other and we were like, we've got to give that to them, even though it was just like, it was around the holidays too, I think it was. Mm-hmm. And we did, and it was just, why are you doing that?
Doing what?
Pulling me in close to you.
I feel like you.
So yeah, I mean, it was just like, yeah, it was, but it's like sowing those gifts. I remember Drew had gone away to a conference or something and came back and was like, I sowed $1,000. I was like, $1,000? Like, where? From who?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, that was like a 24th of our income that year. Gave it one offering.
But it was just like, but the Lord... But the Lord brought it back to us.
Yeah, over and abundantly.
I mean, what was the one where, somebody had a need, and it's just like my thing. My heart is, when I see people or I hear people even on like social media or Facebook, when someone has a need and then you see like 50 comments like, I'll pray for you. It's just like, well, hey, what's your need? Like, how can I help? Like, I probably won't be able to cover the whole thing, but I can like help something. And
it doesn't cost you anything to type, I will pray for you.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't cost you anything.
No. But to ask, like, how much do you need? That costs something.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Right.
But it's so worth it because it's just like, man. Yeah, it was, a few moments of just being able to sow into good ground and just instantly like seeing the
Yeah.
we had, our son had some dental work that really was expensive that we needed covered. And I'm trying to even remember what the circumstances were, but we sewed some money, and all of a sudden it was like, remember, we got like, it was like tenfold back within a few days.
Yeah. Well, I remember in totality, we needed something like $1,800 between Ephraim's teeth and a few other things, and we sewed like $250.
Yes, it was like $250.
Like literally with that need in mind, like we need $1,800 that we don't have.
We don't have.
But we did have $250. So instead of putting that towards our bill, we gave it away.
Yeah.
And then all that was back to us within 3 or 4 days.
It was amazing.
Yeah, remarkable.
Just remarkable.
Remarkable.
Just like mistakes.
Well, even just Sunday, we sewed $100.
Oh yes, this is a great story.
And an hour later, someone walks up and gives us.
It was like 35 minutes.
35 minutes later, someone gives us a check for $100.
Right. So I was like,
you can't make this stuff up.
And it was like, as I was writing it, I'm like, okay, like I'm writing this in faith, but I'm sewing into like our, our future, really.
Yeah. It's amazing. We had a house on the market. We had a rental property we were selling, and it's a seller's market right now. So the house should have sold quickly, and it wasn't selling quickly, and you had a really powerful encounter at a Costco, I think.
Yes.
With a young boy who was wanting to buy an iPod, and he had worked all summer for it. And
he had volunteered his time mowing the lawn at his church or something, and he was in front of my sister and I. And he got up to the register, and he had all these dollars and money, and he was paying, and it was like the cashier was like, you're short, and I want to say it was like $60 short. And I turned to my sister, and I was like, she was like, the Lord's going to give it back to you. And I was like, I'll pick up the rest of it. And I just swiped my card, and literally that same afternoon we got an offer on the house.
Well, yeah, but I remember you said you got in the car with your sister, and you're like, oh my gosh, should I have done that? Because we don't really operate. We still don't operate out of a large volume of reserves, so every $50 counts.
That's true.
But it's and then your sister's like, well, you guys always get it back, and we had been struggling about the house, and so you just sowed the seed in faith. Believing that God's going to take care of us, and just a few hours later, our house sells.
Yeah, it's true.
Just amazing things.
It was
amazing
awesome.
things
It was
over
like,
and over and over again.
Yeah. It's good.
So generosity is more than just, obviously, we could have a long conversation about like tithing and things like that, and Christians have a lot of questions about that, and maybe we'll do another video on tithing.
Yeah.
Because generosity and that's a lot of people have questions about that, and how does tithing relate to the modern church, and is it applicable? Is it biblical? Yeah. Do we do that in a new covenant? A lot of people are having these conversations about old covenant versus new covenant.
Sure. Is
tithing a new covenant thing? And but it's beyond just giving to the local church, no matter if you believe in a percentage or not. The reality is that generosity is a lifestyle. It's something that you do in community. It's not something you do out of just
rules or obligation.
Yeah, you do it out of love.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because God blesses a
cheerful
giver.
Cheerful giver.
Cheerful giver. Joyful, cheerful. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, generosity. Be generous. Give. You can't outgive God.
You can't outgive God. We've been trying.
You can try.
And it's really fun to try.
It's fun to try. It's like a game,
Yeah.
Let's just try to outgive him and see what happens.
Yeah.
And it's been an amazing, amazing journey.
Yeah. It's been so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because Papa, he's so good.
Yeah.
He really is good.
Yeah. So if you could encourage everyone with one thing, what would you say?
If I could encourage everyone with one thing, what would I say? It's not even the Vitamixes. It's like even the smaller things. Like we had a neighbor who just sold their house like not too long ago, and the day before I was in the kitchen and I knew that I had bought this log cabin natural syrup. It wasn't the best organic syrup, but it was like, somewhere in the middle. But I knew that it was in my cart. I knew that I paid for it. And I had made the pancakes and the boys, and I could not find syrup anywhere. I scoured my kitchen. And I was like, darn it, I must have left it at the grocery store. And literally, I'm not kidding you, within less than, it was like 12 hours later, I got a knock at my door. Actually, I got a text, and she was like, my neighbor was like, we're closing tomorrow. Can I stop by? And I was like, well, sure, come over. And, Joyce came over, and she handed me a syrup and a Crisco. And it was the exact, log cabin syrup, the green one, the, no high fructose corn syrup. And I was like, why are you bringing this to me? She was like, well, I didn't want to throw it away. If you think it's gross, just throw it away. I was like, no, you have no idea. Like, it's seriously just like, I just laughed. And she started laughing. I was laughing. And I was like, the Lord loves me so much. Even over some syrup. So I just know that, like, you know, the Lord is so good and he's so great and he owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. And it's not even like
and he owns the hills too.
And he owns the hills too. And it's whatever need that you have, big or small, that he's able.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the posture of your heart. Like, where are you authoring your life from? And I think generosity, it's like you can't go wrong with it. I think generosity and righteousness is a great combo.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, so bless you guys. So I think we're going to make more of these. If you'd like us to, maybe tell us or something if you like this. Or
maybe we just spent 20 minutes talking about nothing, but it was nice to look into your eyes.
Yeah, it was encouraging just to talk out loud.
It was. I feel encouraged.
I feel encouraged. Maybe you feel encouraged.
Yeah.
Share your testimony. maybe you're an extravagant giver. Hopefully you are.
Oh, wait. What about the $5,000 check?
Yeah, that's a whole other story.
Yeah. But Lord, we just declare the favor and the faith to believe for great things.
Great things.
Great things.
Amazing things.
Amazing things, yeah. Miracles, wonders, signs.
Wonders. Signs.
Signs that make you wonder.
Yeah. It's always a good thing.
Yeah. All right.
Bye.